As a parent, you've likely been on a long journey with your child's health challenge. You've tried special diets, different supplements, maybe you've seen many specialists, tried medications and therapies, and finally you start neurological chiropractic, hoping this is going to be the thing that makes a difference. And more exciting, you see your child's progress scans after a few weeks or a few months, and the doctor tells you things are changing, things are improving, but you don't see change in their symptoms yet. Their digestion is still off. They're still not sleeping well. You still notice them having sensory issues or big behaviors, big meltdowns, big challenges. And you wonder if the scans are changing, why aren't their symptoms changing? So that's what I want to dive into in this video is help you understand when deep neurological healing is happening, why symptoms aren't always the first thing to go with it, and that if your child's scans are changing, that is the most important sign. Even though, of course, we want your child to sleep better and behave better and have better moods and poop better, that can sometimes be a little bit down the road if their nervous system first has to build better connections. So I want to share with you a story of 6-year-old Carly who came to see us because she was having huge emotions and meltdowns at home. Parents said she was fussy since she was 6 months old. She did okay at school, but home was a whole different story. So mom said, I want to find the root of her stress, help her feel her best, and have fewer meltdowns. She was also kind of worried. I wonder if this is just the way she is. So fast forward 3 months into care, and things aren't changing well. So I asked a few more questions, and guess what we found out? That not only did she have big emotions and big meltdowns, but she was having some other issues. She was really picky with foods, sensitive to lights and noises. She hated if her hands got sticky. She would shrug off touch, and socks actually took 15 minutes to put on. Sometimes it would take half a dozen tries in the morning to really get them just right. And mom was incredibly frustrated not only with the emotions, but imagine being a parent having to take that long getting your child ready. So here's the thing, 3 months into care, and there was no change. Maybe that's just how she is, mom said. And the cool thing was that even though the symptoms weren't changing yet, one of the things that we did on our progress scans is we were noticing incredible amount of change in her neurology, in her nervous system on scans. From scan 1 to scan 2 to scan 3 at this time, there was a lot of reorganization and change going on. So I told mom, I know she's still having big moods at home, but just stick with it because I can see the healing happening. So now another 3 months go by and we touch base with mom. We find that guess what? Suddenly now there's huge improvement with moods. Behaviors are way more regulated. She's doing way better at home. And some of those other things are changing. She's eating more foods. Socks don't take 10 to 15 minutes anymore. She can get them on in the first try. She doesn't have to wash her hands right when they're sticky. So we were able to see an incredible amount of neurological change early, but an incredible amount of symptomatic change later on. So if this is the case with your child, I want you to know that that's why we do scans on a regular basis, is that there are many times where you might have a goal over here and it's not being met until we build change in your child's neurology. And that's what the emphasis is in this video, is that in order to make change, your child's nervous system first has to change. You see, if you go the traditional medical route, they might say, oh, your child's not pooping, take some Miralax, or your child's not sleeping, take some melatonin, your child's having not focusing at school, here's some Adderall. And while those things might be fine, I'm not saying they're good, I'm not saying they're bad, they might be okay to help your child get through that moment, they often aren't addressing the deeper root issue. So, neurologically, things aren't changing when a medicine comes in, because as soon as you stop the medicine, guess what often returns? The same symptom that you started with. And not only just medications, but maybe you find you're needing that perfect diet for your child, or you're needing to eliminate certain things, take certain supplements all the time in order to get your child through the day. That's because, again, deeper neurological changes haven't occurred. And that's what, on the contrast, we're looking to do in our office, is get your child's nervous system on track so they can start to heal from within. A lot of times, and we may have discussed this with you already, maybe things stemmed from a stressful pregnancy or a stressful labor and delivery where something got thrown off early on. And now your child's a toddler, they're in grade school, they're a teenager, and they've their nervous system has been used to a certain direction for years. They've had certain patterns wired in really strong. So when we're adjusting, step one is we're having to prune off those old patterns and now start to get a new pattern going. An analogy I heard recently is if you have a big tractor and it's driving through a really muddy field, it develops these really big ruts. And if you've driven through the field and you have really big ruts, guess what? The next time you go through it, it's going to be much easier because this pattern has developed. Those ruts are easy to follow. So, neurologically, we have to clear out the old ruts and start to develop a new path and a new track. And when your child can now start to clear out the old, develop the new, as soon as this new pattern integrates neurologically, as soon as the synapses are firing and the neurons are connecting in this direction, once that happens and that starts to become easy, that's when the symptomatic changes start to occur. That's when now you don't need to be taking the med or the supplements or have the perfect diet or have the perfect sleep routine every single time, and your child can still be doing well. They can still have good digestion, strong immune system, regulated behaviors, regulated emotions. All this can happen easily when now the ruts are in the path of a healthy nervous system. So if you have questions on your child's scans, if you ever need an extra time with the doc, feel free to reach out, schedule an extra consult. We're here for you. And know that if we are sharing changes on your child's scans and how they're adjusting, we're confident that you're on the right track and that they're on the right track for full healing.